right, so first of all, happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.
Thank you so much for being here and making the time for us. This is Niina Ratsula. So what I know about you is that you've been a financial analyst at Nokia, then a director of ethics and compliance at Kemira, co-founded the Nordic Business Ethics Initiative, and now you're CEO of Code of Conduct company. So where did your passion for ethics stem from? How did this start?
Actually, it started from US. I was an exchange student just before I graduated in 2006. I was studying in Berkeley, and I went there to study just because I wanted to, go around the country and have fun as a student. And I just thought that let's take some courses that will be so easy to pass. So I chose organizational culture, and it was just right after the Enron scandal had happened, and it was a huge thing in US. And then we got this assignment that we had to study that what went wrong at Enron's.
Okay.
And obviously the right answer was the culture and the leadership and all this ethical blindness. And I was studying accounting, and that's how I kind of figured out that accounting and ethics, they are so related and so fascinating. So that's how it started, and it's never ending story.
Passionate and it stuck with you.
Yeah.
Did you know it was your passion before that moment, or?
No, it was kind of, I found it there, and then of course I did, when I was financial analyst, I did really basic accounting stuff, so I went there, but then I kind of came back to the culture and ethics. And
I love this story, and how that huge event there happened and right timing.
Yeah.
So then I read on your website that you mentioned basic components of good governance become pointless if a company doesn't have a culture that supports doing the right thing. So do you have some personal experience of having worked in a bad culture?
I don't know if I can say about if I've been working in one bad culture, but more what I see a lot in my job is that we do this ethics and compliance program with this official kind of formal building blocks, like we have policies, we have training, official statements. When you go to the company website, it says that integrity is everything.
Yeah.
But then when you look at the decision making, you look at the leadership, and you can't see the matching.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to define bad culture, if I've ever been in one, but I've seen a lot of these stories where there is no match within the reality and the formal. So
and you kind of wanted to set out to fix that or speak more about it?
Well, yeah, I speak a lot about it, and I'm always happy when a company wants to also bring this more. I always say that business ethics is a bit uncomfortable, so it's not, my story is not just that, it's so fun and easy and everyone's responsible, but it's about the gray zone and the difficult aspects of making ethical decisions.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to go a little bit into integrity and public speaking, because it aligns with credibility, which is in this Rhetoric My community. One of the measurements, you can get your speech impact measured, right? So we measure credibility. And I was wondering, how would you measure integrity of a speaker?
That is a great question, because I'm sure that this has also evolved and changed over the time, but somehow I like to maybe link it to the whole thing of being authentic, that you have an authentic story, you are being yourself, and kind of that you have these basic principles of respecting everyone around you.
Do you think you can see when someone has a facade on easily, or?
It depends how good they are.
You could be very good at faking it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that many speakers does that because it's part of their story that they are telling. So maybe I can't be too black and white here, but for me, I think that, for example, for me, it's very important that I don't try to be, a god who is better than everyone else, and I'm the one who tells everyone that, this is being ethical. But it's more like how I come into the topic is that, I'm a human being. I've made huge mistakes. I'm so embarrassed of so many things I've done because I'm a human being, and that's what we all are. So.
I think there's a change happening because I think nowadays authenticity is appreciated a lot more. But I don't think it was in the past. I think it's a movement towards it.
I agree. Yeah.
And then, I have this very interesting one. So in your opinion, is there an unspoken code of conduct for public speakers? What would that be?
That is a good question. I don't know. I'm starting to think that should there be and what should be in it. So maybe we should start developing one. So very good.
Do you have any ideas like basics, kind of unspoken code of ethic? I mean, code of conduct in your head?
Oh my God, I need to come back to this one later.
It might be probably different also now when things are moving online and doing video conferencing and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe the code of conduct actually easier on there, because if you're not all in the same room, and so on, online you can kind of mute, you put yourself on mute so that everyone has a turn and you're not over talking and stuff.
Yeah.
That could be one, at least I was thinking of.
Yeah. And I don't know about the unspoken or spoken. Maybe it would not be even bad idea that my speaker could introduce a code of conduct for the speakers. So this is what we expect you to do as a speaker when we are booking you.
Yeah. I think it could be a good idea.
Yeah.
And lastly, what piece of advice would you give to an aspiring public speaker, somebody who wants to be one day?
Yeah. Maybe this is so lame, but in a way,
It's authentic what you're going to say, probably.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't matter really what your topic. So if I think about my topic that kind of started, with being, management accounting as expert. I've done my PhD about internal control. That is so boring and a lame topic in a way. And I still many times hear a lot about this, that how do you, Niina, you've studied accounting. How do you make it that a business ethics?
Yes.
And how, why people book you to talk about these topics. So maybe my advice is that the topic can be anything, but it's you can find your own ways to make it meaningful, relevant, and an interesting story, or if you just frame it in a right way, just like I framed the management accounting with this business ethics thing, and anyone can create an interesting story.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
That anything can be made interesting.
Yeah.
So I'd like to thank you again so much for giving me a little bit of your time, and I've had a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. My pleasure.